Welcome to the court of Azathoth. Here we explore the strange edges of dream, myth, and cosmic horror. Here ancient symbols take on new meaning. Tonight, we turn our gaze toward one of the most mysterious figures of the Lovecraftian mythos, the goddess Shub Niggurath, also known as the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 young. At first glance, she appears to be nothing more than a monster. Just a dark fertility goddess surrounded by writhing offspring and whispered cults hidden deep within the woods. But there is another way to see her. In this video, we will explore Shub Niggurath not as a literal being, but as a symbol. She is a powerful mythic mask representing the raw forces of matter, energy, growth, and endless creation. We'll look at where she appears in the mythos, how later writers expanded her role, and why modern practitioners of chaos magic sometimes invoke her as a living metaphor for the generative power of the universe itself. Because in the court of Azathoth, the outer gods are not objects of mindless worship, they are symbols, tools, and doorways to deeper understanding. Let us begin with a simple question. Who is Shub Niggurath? If you explore the strange corners of the Lovecraftian mythos, her name appears again and again. It is whispered in cult chants and forbidden rituals. She is most often called the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 young. This phrase itself has become one of the most recognizable invocations in cosmic horror. Shub Niggurath, the Black Goat of the Woods with 1,000 young. The name first emerged from the writings of H.P. Lovecraft. He never gave a clear physical description of the entity. Instead, he used a different technique. He allowed her presence to linger in the background. She was only mentioned by name in fragments of rituals, whispered chants, and half-understood references in ancient texts. Because of this, much of what we imagine about Shub Niggurath today comes not directly from Lovecraft, but from later writers who expanded the mythos. In the decades since, other writers, artists, and game designers have filled in the gaps with vivid, nightmarish details. The most iconic and widely accepted portrayal of her is that of a vast, amorphous mass of darkness. She is seen as a roiling, ever-shifting cloud of black protoplasm that pulses with obscene vitality. From this central bulk emerge writhing black tentacles in endless profusion, slick with slime that drips and pools like tar. Stubby goat-like legs protrude from the bottom of her when she wishes to stand or walk on solid surfaces. It's these that give her the Black Goat epithet, despite her otherwise formless nature. Across nearly all interpretations, one theme remains constant: her endless fertility. Shub Niggurath is associated with unstoppable reproduction and creation. Her countless offspring, known as the Dark Young, are described as towering, tree-like creatures with tentacles and hooved limbs. These monstrous beings are godlike in their own right. They act as her proxies to lesser entities throughout the universe. Shub Niggurath is portrayed as the most widely worshipped of the outer gods. Her human worshippers are usually found in remote forests and hidden wilderness. Cults gather beneath moonless skies to perform ancient rites in hopes of gaining fertility, power, or communion with the Mother who dwells beyond the veil. Her cults appear across many lost civilizations and forgotten cultures. Ancient peoples such as the Hyperboreans, the Muvians, and the inhabitants of Sarnath are all said to have revered the Black Goat. Alongside them were numerous druidic sects and barbaric forest cults who performed rites in her name. But her worship is not limited to humanity. Across the wider cosmos, several alien species are also associated with devotion to Shub Niggurath. These include the strange fungal beings known as the Migo, the subterranean civilization called the Kinyanians, and the immense burrowing entities known as the Doles, along with the mysterious beings called the Nugsoth. This wide range of worshippers, from ancient human cults to alien civilizations, reinforces the idea that Shub Niggurath represents something deeply fundamental within the mythos. She is the primal force of life, growth, and relentless creation that spreads across worlds. Within the universe of the Lovecraftian mythos, she is often categorized as one of the outer gods, vast cosmic forces that exist far beyond the scale of human understanding. They are the very personifications of reality itself. In this mythic framework, Shub Niggurath is frequently portrayed as a kind of dark all-mother. and the living embodiment of matter and energy in all of its many forms. In later expansions of the mythos, Shub Niggurath is sometimes described as being connected with Azathoth. He represents the embodiment of space-time. From this union come the offspring Nug and Yeb. These twin outer gods created the great old ones like Cthulhu and Hastur. Through these mythic genealogies, Shub Niggurath becomes a foundational force in the mythos. She is the source of life whose creations spread endlessly outward through reality. At this point, it becomes important to understand something about the beings of the Lovecraftian mythos. They are not evil in the way humans usually imagine. In fact, they exist far beyond human ideas of morality. The same can be said of Shub Niggurath. She is neither good nor evil. She simply is. Like gravity, fire, or the endless expansion of the universe, she represents a force of nature. She is something vast and impersonal that continues its work regardless of human wishes. When viewed through the lens of chaos magic, Shub Niggurath becomes something even more interesting. Rather than a literal cosmic monster, she can be understood as a symbolic mask worn by reality itself. A way of giving shape to something that is otherwise too large, too abstract, and too alien for the human mind to grasp. In this interpretation, Shub Niggurath represents the raw substance of existence. She is the personification of matter and energy in its most generative and creative form. She is stars forming, worlds evolving, and life multiplying endlessly across the cosmos. The image of the black goat and her 1,000 young becomes a metaphor for this unstoppable process of creation. She is not a goddess in the traditional human sense, but a personification of something far older and far greater than humanity. A symbolic doorway that allows the human mind to contemplate forces that would otherwise remain unimaginable. In chaos magic, that is often the point. The gods are not always meant to be believed in literally. Sometimes they are meant to be used as symbols that help us interact with the deeper patterns of reality itself.